everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Saloon build. In this episode, we're going to be framing the walls and standing them. And so first of all, I will show you, I'm going to work on the balloon framed wall first. So I'll show you how I do that. Kind of split. So, just to keep things simple, I'm just gonna put this wall to the outside. What's another? This one's pretty nice right here. Pencil the right way. I should actually sharpen both ends of my pencil. I know some guys do that. Then if one breaks, you've always got another one ready to go. Oh, what am I thinking? I only need one plate because this is the balloon framed wall. Duh. Still haven't changed that blade. Now I don't think these boards have any crowns in them, but I'll just check it. Yeah, I can't see anything. They're so straight, so nice to work with. Okay, so that'll go roughly right there. And then what I need to do now is cut these studs. I think they're 8 feet exactly right now. I'll just check. Yeah, they're 8-foot studs. So I think I'll make them 93. That'll give me an 8-foot wall, and it'll cut all the rotten stuff off the bottom. And that should work for most of them, I think. If I take 3 inches off, that should leave me with enough decent lumber. So I'm just getting this plate laid out here, and I decided to go 2 feet on center just because I'm going to be using 3/4 inch sheathing, so that should be plenty sufficient. And if my math serves me correct, if I'm going to do a 12-12 pitch and balloon frame this wall, these studs will just be 2 feet longer than the previous one leading up to the center point, which I have marked, and then they'll be 2 feet shorter each time, I think. So we'll try that out and see if it works. Okay, so I'll show you what I have going on here. This is the 8-foot mark, and then I wanted to account for a bird's mouth on the rafter. So I went 1.5 inches down, which is what I'll cut the bird's mouth, just a little square. So that moves everything 1.5 inches down. So all the rafters will be in plane. So I have to cut on this line here, whichever way my saw tilts. I can't remember. Ooh, I don't think I've ever tilted this one before. so that's 45 right there, which is what a 12-12 is. So I will have to square this and spin it the other way. Actually, I should have squared it on this side. Okay, this gets cut like so. Have to follow the 45 arrow there. So that'll look just like that. And then I'll need to set this 1.5 inches back in here to leave room for the rafter. Unless you're familiar with balloon framing, it's probably really hard to visualize what I'm doing right now. But you'll see. Now I'll have to set the depth of the saw to maybe just a little bit deeper than that mark. Then I will cut it along here. And cut it again along here. Okay, now what I have is a notch that will accept, oh, I cut it on the wrong line, but whatever, you get the point. It'll accept a rafter going like that. I'll just have to rescribe this. Of course I cut the far line. Deep enough. There. Now, that is how balloon framing works. I'll just grab my chisel and clean that up so it all sits flush. Alright, so I got 2 of them cut, and I just put a piece in here to show you the idea. So basically what balloon framing is, if I haven't explained it before, it's when the studs run all the way from the top plate right to the or the bottom plate right to the top plate, or the rafter in this case. So the reason I'm doing it like this is it uses less lumber. It's a little more time consuming, but less lumber. And it's the way they used to do it back in the, you know, late 19th century, early 20th century. So I'm trying to use as many original techniques here as possible. Just try them out. You know, you don't really get to use them in everyday carpentry, but when I'm doing my own projects, I kind of like to try these things out. So what I did here was just the notch you saw me do to accept the rafter, and then it goes up in behind just so you can nail it, and it's a nice strong connection, I think, at least. And then I'll probably cut braces into these walls just to give the building some extra strength, just because it is just shiplap, it's not actual plywood. and I won't be putting that on until after they're stood, so just to keep it nice and square and everything. So I'll go ahead and get the rest of these cut and see how it all fits. Okay, so now that I got all this laid out, I just have to nail the studs to the bottom, and I just cut a 45 on here and kind of met them up, and I'll still have to determine where these get cut. I think I want a 1 foot overhang to match the bunkhouse, so they'll probably be just long enough, I'm thinking. They might have a little bit of goofy stuff going on here, but maybe we can somehow jigsaw that into a fancy rafter, have a decorative end and not have to do a soffit. I'm not sure. Okay, so just finishing up with the wall framing here. I want to just put a brace in it. So I just squared up the wall and then laid it down and cut those notches in. And now I'll just take them out. It's a little bit harder to do that with fir than with spruce. And then this piece just gets laid down in there and nailed. And then I'll just trim the stray ends off. That's how you brace a wall. Now it should be nice and sturdy. Doesn't rock back and forth. That's nice. Okay, so I'll just show you a bit more of what I do here. So I just took this piece and laid it right where it's gonna go, right about there, squared the wall, and then just took my pencil and scribed on either side of it like that, so I know where to cut. And then I just set my saw depth to just a little bit deeper than that, just so it can break out a little more, because the chunks might lift it up too much. And then just cut it. Didn't really work. That's a little rough, but it's efficient and it works just fine, so Alright, now what I want to do is build the front wall. So I've determined this wall is 13'6" right to the ridge. So what that means is I'll build the other wall. I'll have to build it out front there, because that's the only place there'll be enough room really. And I want to make it like the parapet, the false front wall, about a foot, or exactly a foot taller than the ridge. I think that'll be proper proportions. And so I'll make that wall 14'6" to the very top. Now I finally remembered to bring my boxes of nails this weekend, and in case you don't remember, these are the nails that I took out of my burnt truck there. So I don't see why there should be anything wrong with these. They're perfectly usable. So I'll go ahead and use them up on the front wall here. Alright, so now that I'm getting towards the end of the lumber, I'm going to try and use it as sensibly as possible. So these are 16 footers and I need a 10-foot plate. So I'm just going to check what I have here. Yeah, these are, I need 12'6" for the edges, like each end of the wall. So will I be able to get away? No, none of these will work. I'll have to use the 16 footers on the end. So I'll just use one of these as a plate. Just square it off where it's not rotten. I just remembered I bought a new blade for this today, so I'm gonna switch that out. Actually, never mind, I left that in my brother's car and he took off, so so now what I'm going to do is lay this out. Now, find the center, first step, which will be 5 feet, obviously. Mark that as center. Okay, so I got these saloon doors here from the blacksmith who redid my rigging axe. So what I'm gonna do with these is just lay them down in front of the center point here. Center those just like that. I think, what's the, say 36, say. And say I'll want to case the opening in 1x. So if I leave an extra 1.5 inches, so I will go 18 3/4. I don't know what the hinges are gonna be, so maybe I'll just go 19. Give me an extra 1/4 inch on each side, because I can always work with more room, but it'll be really hard to work with less room, because I don't really want to trim these down. They're they are the way they are. So let's say I have a 38-inch RO for the door, which should be wide enough. And then I guess we'll find the center, 41. So the center of that will be 20.5. $41 over here too, that's a good thing. 20.5. Now I'll have to account for 3.5 inches at least over here for the window. I should probably go more like 6 inches. So if 3.5 is there, that's where the other wall will intersect. And then I'll probably want to case the inside, obviously. So I think I'll just go ahead and leave 6 inches. That will, just for the RO. So if I got 6 inches, 29-inch windows, which is really as big as we can go. 6 inches there, and 6 inches there. Okay, so if I go and lay this out now, stud there, stud there. That's just my center mark. That's my 6-inch mark right there. Okay, so if I go ahead and build that, that's not really how I had it drawn out though. These windows will have to be smaller. I kind of wanted the windows and the door to be equidistant, but I don't know. A door under that measurement is kind of tight. But as long as the space between here is equidistant, like you have an equal space on each side of the door and window, it should look all right. Okay, I guess we'll work with that for now. Yeah, see if that's roughly 3 feet. Okay. Okay, I'll start getting studs ready. Alright, so I got this all framed here. Should work alright. This area is where the transoms are going to be, so obviously there will just be a single transom above the doorway, and then I'll just build the transoms into the windows at that height. And yeah, then I just put this stiff back on here so this doesn't all pull apart at those connections, because those are pretty weak. And now I guess we'll just have to carry it back. So now it's time to stand them, but I think I'll make you guys wait till episode 9 until we stand them. So yeah, thanks for watching the series. I hope you're enjoying it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever else. Links will all be in the description. So thanks for watching, and stay healthy, everyone. Alright, so now we're gonna stand these walls. It'll go kind of straight in. Probably, yeah.